Welcome. So this video is going to be a review of Wealthify for 2022. My last review of them was back in 2020. It was one of my most popular videos back then. But today I want to have a look at them from a fresh kind of set of eyes. I want to answer three questions mainly. Number one, what do they do? Number two, how much do they charge? Because charges are important in this conversation. And number three, are they good for investors? What are the full pros and cons based on where we find ourselves right now? Wealthify are an investment provider that allows you to start investing in the stock market for as little as £1. The idea here is to make investing as effortless as possible. And back in my day, I wish I had this because you needed £5,000 to £10,000 to start investing, and you could only do it via your bank or after seeing someone like me, who was a financial advisor at the time. Now, that is no longer the case, and good riddance for that. It allows more people to have access to the stock market. But one of the big questions that oftentimes new investors or people who are just approaching investing for the first time, who've been reading about it, researching, know they should be starting is, well, how do I know that my money is going to be safe with this provider? How do I know that they're not going to disappear tomorrow? How secure is my money? So in order to answer that question specifically, I wanted to refer you to this page on their website. Now, there are some good points on here. The two middle ones are the ones that I'm going to focus on, but I do want to cover all four. We'll come back to this one in a moment in terms of what they actually offer in terms of a product and service. But is your money safe? Well, yes, it is. Up to £85,000 of your money is protected by the Financial Services Compensation Scheme. Now, it's important to note here that this scheme does not cover investment losses. It only covers you if, for whatever reason, Wealthify were to go bust due to, I don't know, mismanagement, something like that. If that were to happen, you've got £85,000 worth of coverage. So that is protecting you and giving you some capital protection. The next thing to note on here is that your money is actually safeguarded. So your money and assets are held in a separate custodian account or with a separate custodian. What that basically means is that from an operational point of view, your money is not in the same accounts as, you know, the ones that Wealthify would have for day-to-day operational use, that kind of stuff. It is ring-fenced for you, held with a completely different person for full transparency, knowing that your money's set aside. Really important. Obviously, with Wealthify, this is a great feature for them. You can use this little chat box right here to speak to someone and ask questions. They'll come back to you there. But there's also a telephone number that you can actually phone them to speak to them and ask questions if you do have any questions about your journey, your investment as a whole. In terms of product set, let's talk about that. So when you go to the product tabs here, you're going to find that they have a general investment account. So a general investment account is what you would use after you've used your ISAs. So the first rule of financial planning is tax efficiency. Now you have an investment ISA. This is going to be different to your cash ISA that's sat in your bank right now with possibly very, very little interest. With that account, there is no investment risk at all. With this one, there is an investment risk because it is going to be invested in the stock market. So obviously, you're putting your capital at risk. You could also get back less than you put in if markets are obviously volatile or the markets trail off. You can also transfer ISAs to them. So if, for example, you had a cash ISA with somebody else that you wanted to essentially have that money work a little bit harder for you, you would simply click this button right here and ask Wealthify to transfer that ISA over to an investment ISA for you so you can get your money to work a little bit harder. Junior ISAs, I always get really excited about because it's a fantastic vehicle if you're like a parent. If you're trying to save for your kid or your grandparent trying to save for your grandchildren, this is perfect. This gives you an allowance of £9,000 every single year to put some money to work for your child or for your grandchild. It's amazing. And if you have like an old child trust fund, this is a great home to basically transfer that money into. The last one that they have here is a pension. Now, when I did my review in 2020, they didn't have one at that point. They were just launching it. With a pension, obviously, you can't access until you're age 55. Under current legislation, it is all about funding, planning for retirement. But there are key tax efficiency benefits of investing into a pension as well. So those are the four services. You can also transfer from previous pension providers into them as well. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that here too. Whilst we're on the topic of products and services, here's a little bonus for you. Wealthify is currently offering up to £200 cashback if you transfer an existing ISA or pension to them, or you could get up to £400 if you transfer both. Now, you need to register your interest for this offer before May 1st, 2022. You will have 6 months to transfer your ISA or your pension to them. There are terms and conditions. I will link to those in the comment section and in the description below. Not only that, but if you invest with Wealthify before the 1st of June 2022, you could also enter their prize draw to win a whopping £20,000, which is your full ISA subscription for the new tax year. There are terms and conditions that apply to this as well. Again, they are going to be linked in the description and the comments below, but please note it does not apply if you live in Northern Ireland. If you do enter, good luck. One of the common questions that I get from people is, well, Pete, how do I know what I should be invested in, how I should be investing, and that I'm invested in the right thing? And sometimes that can be a really tricky question to answer because it's all about the risk that you're willing and able to take with the money that you want to invest into the stock market. Luckily, though, Wealthify have kind of simplified this. They have 5 investment styles. Now, if you look at the 5, 1 to 5, 5 is obviously the highest, so that's the higher risk element to it. This is their website right here. I'm just going to talk you through all 5 of them. So if you look at number 1, it's essentially the cautious plan. Now, the goal here is minimizing loss. That is the priority. Small movements up and down in plan value are acceptable with the aim of beating inflation. Now, that's an interesting statement because inflation right now is pretty high. Number 2 is tentative. So limiting losses is important. Moderate movements up and down in plan value are acceptable with the aim of achieving reasonable growth. Now, reasonable growth will be subjective to whoever is watching this. I know some people who think reasonable growth is 10% a year. That's debatable to say the least, but that's tentative. If you look at the middle one, which is confident. Now, this is all about minimizing losses as important as making gains. So there's a little bit of a balanced approach here. Movements up and down in the plan value are acceptable with the aim of achieving good growth, right? That's number 3, which is the confident one. Number 4 is ambitious. So making gains is the priority. The risk of large losses and large movements up and down in plan value are acceptable with the aim of achieving high growth. Making gains is the priority. The risk of large losses and large movements up and down in plan value are acceptable with the aim of achieving high growth. So this one right here is going to be for people who actually want to really speculate. And then you have plan number 5, where maximizing returns is the priority. The risk of substantial losses and substantial movements up and down in plan value are acceptable with the aim of achieving the highest growth possible. There is a stark difference between 1 and 5. So the beauty here is with Wealthify, you get to choose which one of those that you go into. Now, one thing that you could do, particularly if you're a little bit like, oh, we don't really know what that might look like in real life, is you could consider starting low. So starting with maybe a 1 and a 2, once you get a bit more confident, then dabbling into some of the higher risks, 3 or the 4s or the 5s maybe. That could be an approach that you could take. Now, it is important to talk about fees because fees are one of the big topics of conversation when you look at approaching investing. People often tell you that, if you're paying large amounts in fees, that obviously it's erosive to your overall investment outcome. And that is true. However, some context is important here. I think it's really crucial that you understand what kind of investor you are. Are you the kind of person that is happy to do the research, happy to make the investment decisions? You're happy to sit there, read through key facts documents and basically make that decision, have that burden on your own shoulders. If you are, there are probably going to be cheaper alternatives out there for you than Wealthify. However, if you are on the other side of this equation where you're just too busy, you've got a really, really busy career, you've got family, you've got a really busy social life, or you just don't have any interest in doing research, you don't feel confident in doing all of that, you don't feel confident in reading key facts documents, and you definitely don't want the responsibility of making those investment decisions yourself, then someone like Wealthify would be perfect for you. Going back to the first tab that we had a look at where we talked about what they actually do in terms of their product, their service set. So your money is managed by their team of experienced, qualified investment experts. That's essentially what you're paying them for. You're paying them to use big data to be able to make decisions about your money in the markets to get you the best result possible. But when it comes to fees, I think it is important to understand how much you're going to be paying them for that service. Now, one of the great things about Wealthify is they lay it out really, really simply. I said this in the video in 2020. Everything is very, very transparent with Wealthify. So this is their fees page right here. And what you'll notice here is that they actually charge you a low 0.6% fee. Now, if you click on the I here, it tells you what it's basically for. It is for the ongoing management of your investments. That amount does not change regardless of how much you invest. It is a flat fee. Now, when you invest, obviously you're employing other services. There will be investment costs. There might be investment cost involved in the original plan. So they have the original plan and the ethical plan. We'll come to that in a moment. This is on the original plan. The average investment cost is 0.16%. So in total, you'll be looking at 0.76, which means that if you invest in £1,000, it's going to cost you 63 pence per month, which means it's going to cost you overall, including the average investment cost, £7.60. That's on their original plan. So I guess the final question is, are they a good option if you want to start investing in the market, or you're invested in the market right now and you're looking for a different provider? Well, it depends on how you have a look at this. And I think the answer to that is yes and no. Because if you are the kind of person that wants to be in full control of your investments, then no, they are not going to be the ones for you. If you want to pick your own individual stocks, you want choice over the kind of ETFs that you're investing in, these guys are not for you, because essentially you're happy to do that research, make those decisions on your own. I think there are more and more people out there who want the control, but equally there are other people on the other side of the spectrum who this is absolutely perfect for. And again, if you're the kind of person where you just have a really busy life and you'd rather just put your energy and your time into things that will give you a better sense of fulfillment, these guys could be a really good fit for you. If you're a new investor, these guys could be a good fit for you. Their promise is simple. It's no complicated jargon, no daunting fees, just straightforward, effortless investing. And you can invest with as little as £1. Not to mention, these guys have won a ton of awards. You just need to go onto their website to see how many awards they've actually won. This is a few of them right here. So clearly they're doing something right. If you go onto their Trustpilot as well, they have over 1,500 reviews from customers, scoring at about 4.6 out of 5. So again, they're doing something right. And don't forget, if you do invest with them before June 1st, 2022, you could enter into the prize draw to win a whopping £20,000, which is going to come in handy because tax year end, the new tax year, is literally just around the corner. Just remember though, the date, 1st of June 2022. You have to enter before then. If you are in Northern Ireland, you are excluded from this, unfortunately. Now, if you do want to get started, there are some links in the description and in the comment section below. Go and click on those. It would give you access to the T's and C's and how you can actually enter them. Good luck if you do, by the way, but please do remember, when you're investing, your capital is at risk and you could get back less than you put in. If you do enter, please do let me know. I wish you the best of luck. I'll catch you on Friday.